Hi, everyone. Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join me today. And if you're listening to this show on the podcast directory, you can also come to Podomatic.com to listen to the show, or also on iTunes. Just search for Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and you can subscribe. Or you can come to WomenEntrepreneurSecrets.com, which is the website for the show, and there are links there that you can get directly to the show. You can listen directly to different interviews. You can definitely see all the guest bios are there and links for the show. So there's lots of opportunity for you to find out more and to listen in. And also you can download the shows and share them on social media. So there's many ways for you to take advantage and listen in. So also you can come to Facebook, facebook.com/Women Entrepreneurs, and that's the page for the show, so you can go there. And my website, DeborahABailey.com, is also another way you can find out more about me and my books. I'm going to introduce my guest today, and she's joining us from outside of the U.S. I was just talking before we started, and like hoping we were like talking to her in the middle of the night. It's like, oh my gosh, that would be terrible. So I'd be excited to talk to her, but we have to think about the entrepreneurship world is a global world, and that is what makes it so exciting, is that we can reach people from all over now compared to how it used to be not too long ago. So it's really fantastic and really exciting, and I'm going to ask my guest to please introduce herself and her name, because I do not want to mess it up. It's a beautiful name, and I want her to share it so that I'm not embarrassed.
All right, so
It really is.
So my name is Karolina Demianczuk. I know it's very hard for American people to pronounce it, but it's not. It's not hard. So I'm Karolina Demianczuk, and I'm the founder of Spontime. It's a social networking mobile app for spontaneous meetups with friends, such as coffee, jogging, lunch, gym, anything you want to do. And basically it helps you get together spontaneously. Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful. And yes, like I said, I love your name. It's beautiful, and I just want to do right by it. So I said, well, let me not do that. Let me let her introduce it, and it sounds wonderful when you do it. So
thank you. Actually, I would like to hear you talk, saying it. Could you try?
Well, oh my God. I want to say Demianczuk.
Perfect. Yes, can you try again?
Demianczuk?
Yes, it's perfect. I'm proud of you.
Oh my God!
Listen to my English. It's like as bad as your Polish. So.
Oh my God! Yeah, when I was very fortunate in where I grew up in Jersey City, there was a lot of people from many different places, and I knew a few folks with Polish last names, and that I could kind of read them and kind of figure it out, but thankfully I could just call them by the first name.
Yeah, we can say with Karolina. That's okay.
Exactly. So it's I just love to hear different languages and things like that, and everything. But then I realized, okay, sometimes my tongue is not going to get around certain guest names, so I really apologize to them in advance.
Oh no, you're great. You're perfect.
Right. Well, I feel better now. So this app sounds really like a fantastic idea. You wonder when you hear about these things, you're like, well, how come someone didn't think about this before? Because it's really clever. And, from what the information that you share with me, it has over $3 million valuation,
Mm-hmm.
and you're 21. I mean, how did you pull this together?
I mean, the same day I got the idea, I just started looking for the co-founders because I had many different ideas before, but I never did anything. So right now when I got the idea for Spontime, I decided that I actually have to take the action. So the same day I went on Facebook, I posted like posts, hey, I'm looking for startup founders, developers. I went to different universities. I went to like all the meetups where I could meet developers because I don't have any technical knowledge. And what was very surprising is that people were very interested. So I guess I found my team in a week. And from Spontime's inception, all we did was just creating a Facebook profile. And we created the profile. We could see that like our friends and many people we didn't know, they were very interested in our idea. And then I presented the project at my school. I'm a student at Warsaw School of Economics. It's a business school in Poland. And whenever we had a presentation or like marketing strategies or for new venture creation, like the classes, I always did presentation about Spontime so that I could develop the project during the classes. And my professors, they really liked the idea, and they asked me if they can forward my materials, my presentations, forwarded further. So they I guess they sent it to investors, and that's how investors found me. We didn't approach and we didn't send any applications to the investors. They all came to us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it's all very surprising and exciting because we didn't expect this to be so big even before the release, because the app is not released yet, but we can see a huge interest in Europe.
Wow, that's really fantastic how all of that came together.
Thank you. I mean, it's all just happened by itself, you know. We have we have no budget, let's say. It's all just our work, our hard work and our passion, and the investors came, and now we are talking with them about like the first seed investment.
And, you know, the thing is that people will say that, you know, when you decide something and you have the idea and you move on it, so many things will happen and line up in your favor because this is what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And you know, when you go for it, then you find the people that you connected with, your team and everything, you know, things fall into place because you said, unlike, you know, a lot of people may have an idea and they'll go, well, that's nice, but I can't do it. I don't know how.
Exactly. And that's the worst you can do. I mean, the worst thing you can do is not to try, you know? Like very often I could give up because there were many challenges. Like every day is very hard for an entrepreneur, but you need to be persistent because like when each day, the next day, we get many new opportunities, many like new people approach us, and I mean, you can't give up.
Mhm. And you've lived in a few countries. You visited around 30 countries. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you just love to travel and check out different places? Have you been doing this before you started on the app?
I started traveling when I was 6 years old, and I remember that from my first trip, it was trip to Greece. I was very excited to go to every temple and see every different site and different food. But the most exciting for me was the orange trees, you know, because when I was very excited that I could pick the oranges, just the same as I picked the apples in Poland. Mm-hmm. So I could see that something that for me was very, let's say, unusual. I could see it was normal in the other place, and then I I started liking everything was different. So my pet in my childhood was a turtle, not dog, not cat. It was turtle. I had my whole room filled with cacti. Yeah, that's how you called it, cacti.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then I started travel every year, every 2 years. But I wanted to live actually somewhere abroad. And in high school, I went to US for the whole year. And I think this was a breakthrough year in my, let's say, my mindset, you know, because in US I learned that when you fail, you don't fail, because it's a huge lesson for you. It's like you can't treat failure as something bad, but it can be something that teaches you new skills and like, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm. So do you feel, based on that, do you feel that, say, I don't want to just say Europe because it's, it's not just one country, but do you think there's a difference in how they look at entrepreneurship there than they may look at it here?
Yes, I think there's a big difference. It starts to change. But we are still, our countries in Europe are small. So usually when we found our companies, our businesses, we don't think globally. We don't have this global vision. It's the language barrier, it's so much, it's just so many different cultural like differences. So when I founded Spontime, and I said, like from the beginning, I said we're founding Spontime in US because we are incorporated in US, and we want to make it not Polish application but the global application, because people around the world would like to use it. Because when I travel, I can see that people spend more and more and more and more time on their devices, like in their phones, and it scares me. I mean, because we're all very busy. We all have many different classes, many different activities, and very often it's hard to actually meet with your friends. For example, when you have a whole day of different activities, but you have only 2-hour break, we usually spend these 2 hours waiting alone, let's say in our laptops or our phones or by ourselves. And why not to make it easier to just message 50 friends at the same time? Hey, I want coffee. Like, would you like to go? And and I'm sure that out of these 50 people, one would join you.
Right.
So I want people to spend more time together than by themselves. Actually, I read it yesterday that 30% of kids below age, I guess 4, have iPads. They have their own iPads, which is crazy for me. I mean,
for me too.
Yeah. My sister, she's a doctor, and she just got the pediatrics internship, like the residency. And she said that out of 7 kids who were in the playing room waiting for their visit with the doctor, out of 7 kids, 7 were on their iPads. They were playing so they weren't playing together, but they were playing on their iPads. And when I hear this, it's like very scary.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think in some cases people, want to kind of keep their kids amused, and so they're like, here, take this.
No. Yeah.
And,
let's play with the iPad.
Right. Because some of my friends, I remember when their kids were young, and they would just put like some Disney movie on because the child would be mesmerized. And that was a way to kind of keep them from running all around the house because they're watching TV.
No.
So
that's the easy way. That's the easiest you can do. And I'm like, no.
Right. I think that could be part of it as well. But you make an interesting point, because I think that as time goes on, this whole thing with mobile devices is really going to become more and more. I think certain countries' cultures may embrace it quicker, but it's no doubt going to be something that goes everywhere in time, where as you're saying, more people are staring at the device and maybe not spending time with their friends and family and,
Exactly.
you know, right.
Exactly. So people say that it's like a paradox because I made a mobile app, which is also for mobile device. But I always say that actually my app aims to take these people out of the digital world into the real one. So, and also because it's an app, we want to appeal to young people in high school or in college or even in middle school. So that it's easier for them to actually meet,
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense, because then it's like you have to know who your audience is, who it is you're trying to reach with this, and what you're trying to help them to do. That other apps, someone may not even have heard of something like this before, to help them to connect with other people. So, what are some challenges that you have found, in getting this going?
I think the biggest challenge, like I said, is to stay persistent, because every day we are faced with unforeseen problems or requests or inquiries. And the more attention we get, the more media attention or journalists, investors, users, they want to know. They want to know more every day, So we get hundreds of messages, and some people, we are very happy to talk our app for hours. But there are unfortunately people who always want to see you fail, So many journalists or many people, they ask us questions that like, well, it won't work out, what you're gonna do, so like, don't you think it doesn't make sense to do it? It's just like questions that don't make sense. But yeah, I mean, the hardest is to stay persistent. Also, let's say 2 or 3 weeks ago, we found out that we have to change our whole backend code, like the programming code. We had to change it all. So we thought, wow, so maybe we have to do everything from the beginning. So maybe we should just give up, But then we're like, no, I mean, we still want to do it. It's such a great project, and people like it already, and it's not out. So what we did was writing the code from the beginning all over again, which is hard, but you have to keep your motivation, and you have to be persistent, and I guess that's the hardest. And also I think that's why the most startups fail, because whenever there's any problem, and the farther you go, there are more problems, and whenever there's any problem, people, the easiest way to do, as I always say, is to give up. So conflict in teams, or low budget, or or like technical problems like we had. I mean, you just have to continue, do what you do. And also what I know is that at the same time as any startup has any idea and like develops idea, I'm sure that at least 5 or 10 different startups around the world do the same.
Yeah.
And I think that the one that will actually succeed will be the one that won't give up. So so yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because I think everybody has to go through these things.
Everyone has problems. And it's like in private life. Like let's say every marriage has problems, so every startup also. I'm sure that Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, they had huge problems as well. So.
Oh, for sure, because it's always a lot that has to be done, and you can't plan for everything that will happen. And I was in IT for years, and working in large companies with their IT department, and even with all their money that they have to throw at a problem, they still had problems, and they still had things that would happen that no one thought about. And so the nature of that is always going to be something that you have to deal with, and there's always things you don't expect, and changes that come up. So I think that's part of it And like you said, it's being persistent and still saying, okay, I'm going to move forward because I believe in what I'm doing, even if there's a problem. That comes with the territory. That we're going to have things come up, but you're also right when you were saying about the people talking to you and interviewing you, and some seem to want to look at the negative side.
Yeah, but it's also, there's like, you can't expect everyone to like you, it's obvious.
Right. Yeah. Some people always are looking for their angle as well. This isn't work. It's some people just enjoy to think that somebody's idea is not going to work out, or it's not a good idea, but that comes with it. That's part of what happens, in anything, any invention. I'm sure, you could look back over, and there's always people who said that wasn't going to work, and then people made it work. And then suddenly everybody's like, oh, yeah, I knew it would work.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, suddenly they forget what they said before. And I think that's just the nature of how things go. When people have a new idea, everybody will not embrace it. But that's okay, as long as you believe in what you're doing. As far as getting, funding, I know you're still in the process of doing a lot of things. Do you have any tips for someone who's saying, wow, I would like to do something. I don't really know how to do this. What are some things that you have learned about this process?
I mean, the process of funding, right?
Yes.
So I think the worst thing startups do is that they accept any offer just to get the money. I don't think it's, I've seen a lot of different agreements from a lot of different investors, and each agreement is so much different, so you can't just accept the first one you get, but you have to analyze each carefully, preferably with a lawyer, and then it's a process that takes weeks. Not days, or even months,
Right.
So that's the first thing I would say. Just so startup founders should not think how to convince these investors to fund my project, but how to convince them. But we should make them to want to fund our project. You know what I mean? It's just because what we did is that we showed the investors that we can get any money we want. It just they have to convince us to want to sign the deal with them. So it's from the other side. So now investors try to convince us that they are the right investors for us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think what startups should do on the beginning is that they shouldn't focus on raising money, because then investors see that you're desperate for money. So probably you don't have money, you don't have other offers. But first you should focus on doing your project the best you can, and you should show that there is interest among customers or in media. We had interest from the beginning, so I think it's a sign that our project it's a good idea and it might work out. So when investors see that people are very interested, there's a huge buzz in Europe and media are very interested, so then they see that this project is worth it, and now they want to sign the deal with us. It's not us wanting to sign the deal with them. So my two advice is to focus first on doing your project the best you can, and then don't sign any agreement. I mean, we've talked to investors the first time in December, so it's 7 months ago, and we still haven't signed anything yet. But all this month, we still talk to the same investors, and the agreement for us is better and better. So I guess that's what I could tell.
Yeah, that makes sense, because then you're not coming at it saying that, oh, I really need you and I'll give you anything you want, just give me money.
No.
Yeah. A lot of people do that and then they end up with nothing.
Yeah, because when they see that you're very desperate for the money, you really need the money, and you really want this agreement with them, then they will think that, okay, so he probably doesn't have anyone else who is interested in this project, so maybe we shouldn't invest in this project.
Yes, I think that happens a lot of the time, that people just have that idea that it doesn't matter, I just want to get the money and then I'll figure it out later, and then they later find out that the contracts were written in a certain way that now they're out of their own project, or it's not what they thought because they were so desperate to get started, and they never thought about what was going to happen later. So that is very good advice for people listening to know. You have to walk into it with a different way of looking at it. You can't just be so quick without really thinking it through. So, right now, based on where you're at with your project, when are you hoping to have this, officially launched?
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. We are launching this Saturday. We just decided that we're not going to wait anymore, because we did testing for more than one month, and we get very positive feedback. So we already added new features. We listened to our first users, and we are ready to launch. And we are launching this Saturday on May 21st.
Wonderful. So wow. So this show will be heard after your launch.
Oh,
so
perfect. So we'll be able to try it out right away.
Yes. So those folks who are listening, it'll be ready for you to go and check out right now. So don't delay.
Yes, you can go right away on Google Play Store or App Store and find Spontime, S-P-O-N time, like time, right? It's like spontaneous time,
Yes, so you must be really excited right now.
Yes, I'm very excited. I mean, we've been working on it since October. So it's, it's, wow, I didn't even know. It's 6 and 3, it's 9 months?
Yeah, wow. It's just, I bet it's just going by so fast you didn't even realize.
Yeah, we just started. Wow.
Yeah, it just feels that way, right? And then here you are, and... Wow, that is so exciting. So, right now, where would you like to see this go? Are you looking ahead to where you would like this to be? Are you hoping maybe one day to sell this, or I mean, there may not only be so much you can say, but how are you seeing this going forward in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we already have plans for the new features, new add-ons, what we're going to do with the app when it comes to like the technical stuff. And so we will do definitely app for smartwatch and like other devices. Yeah, so we have all this planned. And we are, the whole team is moving to the US, because for now, currently our technical team, so our developers worked in Warsaw, in Poland, but we are moving to the US. That's the plan. And when I see, like how I see the future of Spontime, is I just want to see people around the world going for meetings and like organizing meetings on Spontime. That's how I see it. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I can't really make any plans for, let's say, 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, because I see that every day my plans change. So every day it's something new. Something new happens that completely changes our plans. Sometimes for better, sometimes for not so good. But it's always, I mean, how I say, it's like you go with the flow, So yeah, but in future, I mean, I probably won't work on it my whole life, so I probably sell it, but we'll see again what happens.
Exactly. Yeah, things like that, I guess it's hard to predict how it was going to go and the directions things will take. So some people start out and that's already their goal down the road. But right now it's I'm sure it sounds like you're just gonna kind of enjoy this process and launch and growing it and really getting getting out there with it. So you're all going to be coming to the U.S. Are you going to be in New York or in the West?
We are going to San Francisco.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we already have the office. And,
nice.
And I'm actually going in June, which is less than a month. So I'm very excited. And I guess for startups, it's a great place to be. I've just visited in March and I completely loved it. And the atmosphere, it's like you can't compare it to anywhere else in the world.
Exactly, and it's going to be warmer than being.
Oh, exactly. I love hot weather. I hate winter, so.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a better place to be.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you feel, I mean, we're people who may be listening and may feel a little bit like, wow, can I really dive into this? I mean, you're going to be out there and I'm sure you'll have to interact with a lot of business owners, a lot of investors, and make this a part of what you do going forward. Not like you haven't already been doing it, but, how does that feel? You're ready to really dive into this next phase?
I mean, I hope so. I would never ever expect that I will be doing, let's say 1 year ago, I would never accept that I will be doing what I'm doing right now. Because I'm 21 and I've already talked to huge investors from Sweden, United Kingdom, Germany, Poland, and I've been to major TV shows, radios, and all this legal stuff, accounting, taxes. I didn't know anything about it before. So I learn every day something new because I have to. But I mean, it's, you have to manage, you have to find ways to do it. And so I hope when I go to San Francisco and I will go to all these conferences, all these places, meet all these people, I hope I will be ready to dive into it, Yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like it. It sounds like you're ready to do that, and all this has happened just in a relatively short amount of time, and here you are. So I think it's really good that you went for it. You said, well, I have this idea, I'm going to move forward and see where it takes me, and
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect that we're going to have such a huge interest and that so many things will happen before we even launch it, So, I mean, I always tell to my friends, because now all my friends, they see me and they're like, maybe I should found my own startup. They're very excited. So they're like, Caroline, how to start? What should I do? And then I'm just like, just start, do what you do what you like. And then you'll see that if people like it, it just all happens by itself. So let's say people always ask me, who's your PR person? Who does your PR? And I'm like, there's no PR person. There's just me and 4 guys who do the technical stuff. So that's all the team. And I mean, I think if you do something great and if it's a good idea and if you believe in it, because it's also very important. Also, what I always say to people who want to give up, I'm like, if you don't believe in your project, how could other people believe in it? So when people see me very passionate and very excited, and when I always talk about Spontime, I'm like, this is the best app. You need to download it. It's the easiest way to get together. So people are like, wow, it's really cool. So when they see me excited, they get excited and they get interested. So I think that can be my advice for all the aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yes, I agree. Then people get excited because they know you believe in it and you're willing to do, what it takes to help it to come out. And then people go, oh, okay, I like what I'm hearing. I want to be a part of that. So that's wonderful advice, and I think it's interesting that other people see you now. They may start their own. They can help to get them excited too about what they can do. So
that's exciting. I get tens of messages, or sometimes even more than 100 messages every day from random people asking me. Some people, of course, they wish me luck or they say congrats and they're like, that's a great project. But very often people ask me for advice, and it's very funny for me. Not funny, but it's like, I don't know, actually, I just did what I do, and it happened. So, but I always try to respond and say something, you know.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful that you're able to do that, and I'm sure that will continue to grow. So, I'm sure in time that you will be called on to share more about what you are learning and inspire other people who may also have an idea and they just have not moved on it because they didn't realize that they could do it. They've talked themselves out of it. So I think it's always wonderful for people to see what can happen when you say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. At least let me make an attempt to move forward. So that is always good for people to see. I think it encourages them.
Mm-hmm.
So, why don't you share where people can find out more about you and about the app?
Oh, yeah, sure. So if you want to find out more, you can go on www, right? Spontime.com, C-O, not com. It's CO, or find us on Facebook, just type Spontime or LinkedIn, or you can also find me personally, and I will be happy to answer all of your questions. So also Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, but on Instagram I'm there's just my name, and I guess that's all the places you can find us. Well, we're also on Crunchbase or AngelList or like all these different startups platforms, but I guess the easiest way is just Facebook or LinkedIn.
Yeah. I think it starts there and then work through the other things, and yeah, and it's really fantastic, as you said, that it's pretty much right now just you doing these things for the PR. And, I'm guessing time that you'll have to add on to more people to work with that. But
yeah, but one investor said he was very scared because I said that for when we're discussing the cost, and I said that, well, I will need someone to do the marketing and PR because I can't do it anymore. I have so much different responsibilities. And he was like, Caroline, but your marketing will lose its soul, and like soul, like the heart and the soul. And I'm like, but I can't do it anymore. And he's like, well, that's what we love. We just love to see you in the project. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's also what my another advice is, that like the founder and like you are the, let's say the base, the heart of the project,
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you can still have help.
Yeah. Yeah. One day.
Right, when it's time for you to do that, but I guess from their point of view, they don't want to lose that certain something, because people really respond when they think they are connecting with a real person, because I'm sure, as you probably know, there's so many people starting things and it's just a company and people feel like, well, there's nothing special going on here, but when they connect with a person,
yeah,
and they identify with that person or like their enthusiasm, it adds another layer to it that makes it more interesting. People here particularly like that. So
no, I know it's the same everywhere,
And that's also part of your app. So I think it's
exactly.
a perfect match.
Exactly. So when people mail us or message us, they know that I'm the one to respond, So it's different,
Yeah, and that does make a difference in how they feel about what you're doing. So that's fantastic. So since we have a wonderful talk here, but it's time to wrap up and let you get
get back to work.
Yes, back to work, because I have to have the app out there soon. So, is there any final thoughts or anything that you want to mention?
No, I just want to thank you for hosting me today, for having me in your show. It's a great talking to you, and and I'm very excited. I'm always very happy to talk about Spontime, and whenever you want to contact me or message me, feel free. I'll be happy to answer all of your questions.
Well, thank you so much, and also, I have a post of yours. It's also going to go on the blog as well. So I just want to thank you again for this conversation, and I wish you so much with the launch, and I will certainly check in and see how
how it goes.
How it's going and look out for it and everything, because I think this is a real wonderful idea, and I really am excited for you. This is wonderful, and thanks so much again.
Thank you very much. It was really great talking to you, Deborah, and and greetings from Warsaw, Poland.
Fantastic.
Oh, I can say in Polish, dziękuję. It's thank you. Dziękuję.
I love it. I love it. I don't get to talk to people from different countries as often as I would like, but I have, been able to. And like I said, it excites me, because then that is that connection that we all have around the world, and everyone doing their part and doing their thing and putting it out there, that we can now all benefit from with, mobile devices, and we can do everything. Exactly. So that makes it even better. So that's fantastic, and I'm really excited about all of it. So everybody listening, I know you love it. Please share it. Please check out the app, because it will be up by the time you hear this show. So make sure you check it out, and if you've got an idea or a dream, let this show you that. Don't put that aside and think you can't do it. You never know. Just if you really believe in it, then you really have to really think about doing it, moving forward, and believing in yourself. And that's what this show is about. So please make sure that you don't put your dreams aside, okay? So once again, it's been Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.